RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 14, The Final Word, the season finale, has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So, everyone's kind of fighting. Let's start off with the smallest of the bunch, and the most important to me personally. You see, I came into this finale with one expectation and hope, and that was the storyline regarding the Aesops. If they got a good conclusion, then I decided I would be happy with everything else. And at the very least, I can say I wasn't let down as much. So Crow and Harriet are fighting on the plane. Their fight doesn't last long as Crow's hyper aware of the bomb. Harriet continues to try and do her job, but it's not until the arrival of Elm and Vine until they manage to make her see what she's doing is wrong. But it's too late as the bomb is about to explode. Clover's luck exhibits one last trait and prevents the bomb from falling out of the plane, which gives Vine enough time to replace Harriet and the others and create an aura dome where he sacrifices his life for the sake of his friends. I am undeniably mixed about this, but I more like it than I don't. Harriet living was the key piece for you guys not getting a rant and losing my mind. I know some of you wanted to see that, but sorry. Listen, I know most of you don't understand, but believe me, it's a whole thing and a whole reason for why I like the Aesop, beyond the Harriet's thighs and the Elm's muscles jokes that I like to make. I'm making a whole video explaining just how good they are, because it's too much to explain in just one of these. But just be aware, there is a reason that I actually like it so much and was so invested in them. But the scene played out with so many elements that I was hoping to happen and also not hoping to happen. I didn't want a self-sacrifice because those are corny. I did want Clover's luck to come into play and save everyone, but it did it with the bomb just got stuck on the wall when it was about to fall out of the plane, instead of just saying preventing the bomb from exploding altogether, and thus Vine could have lived and continue on with his journey with the other Aesops. But regardless, Vine was the only casualty, and Robin still gets to live. Now that's a tragedy. So considering all of my hopes were placed on this one storyline, I can walk away not furious. As for everything else, it was just a fight. Ironwood versus Winter and everyone else versus Cinder. Firstly, pretty much everyone gets knocked into the pit. Ruby, Neo, Blake, Weiss, Jean, the pit beckons. As for Penny, she dies again. It's like the third time. But this time, it's kind of real as her maiden powers gets transferred over to who else but Winter. And this helps her in her fight. And she just wins. Speaking of Ironwood and Winter's fight, it was kind of ass. Again. Ironwood, you have not had a single good fight in this entire show. I don't know whose creative decision it was to give Ironwood this disgusting clunky ass gun, but this, no. Holy God, this is painful to watch for my eyes with this choreography with this brick in his hands. Also, their fight just lacked emotion. Even despite Ironwood's man tier. You remember in Volume 7 where people were like, oh, look at Ironwood and Winter's relationship. Winter had a bad dad at home. She ran away and found a new life and purpose in Atlas Academy, and Ironwood was like her new father figure. And you see how much Ironwood trusts Winter continuously throughout all the random bullshit that's going on, and then when he's betrayed, he cries. But come this episode, Winter's just like, yeah, fuck you, who even are you? There's no emotion. It's like they wanted to go for like a Captain America versus Iron Man Civil War, but it was just like Hitler versus Captain America. Winter never wants to try and help Ironwood. She treats him as nothing more than like her boss who she's talked to a few times. People have brought this up, but it's incredibly true and echoed in this episode as well. But Ironwood still believes he's trying to help people and everyone is turning on him and betraying him. And that's a very confusing thing from his perspective. They never try to be like, hey, we've evacuated literally everyone. Everyone is safe. Come on, we're going to Vacuo. Join us. There's no plea. There's nothing. And the lack of sympathy thrown towards his way, even in his battle against Winter, is so weird. Winter not once is like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. I actually care for you. It's literally, you are a problem and you need to die. Sorry, Ironwood, you got the Adam treatment. Yeah, so anyway, Winter goes off to fight Cinder, and wouldn't you know it, Cinder loses again. How unique of a plot point. You're telling me that Cinder on her endless journey for ultimate power, the maiden powers, and literally everything else in the world result in her getting her ass handed to her by another maiden, which results in her losing? Wow, I haven't heard that one before. I'm so glad Cinder's alive. And the main villain the show is pushing? The only upside is that Winter's a maiden. I like Winter. Now we have her and Raven as maidens. Now that's a squad. I know Cinder's a maiden as well, but yeah, you know, everything's not perfect. All they gotta do is make Kali a maiden. If that happens, that's the best idea that could possibly befall this show. And then you'll have 3 of the best characters as maidens. I mean, who else in Blake's life can become a maiden? Raven, Winter, that's 2 for 2. Summer was probably a maiden at some point, unless she's still alive. So that's 3 for 3. Kali, your day's coming. I'm telling you, you're gonna shine as the star you deserve to be, other than just the incredibly hot mom. Anyway, Cinder gets her hands on the relics and the world begins to collapse, and Winter leaves Jean behind to fall into the pit. Well deserving. So now Winter's in Vacuo, helping Oscar and them. As for Salem, she's back. Cinder used the relic to create fire and destruction. So Watts burns to death and Atlas falls. A flood comes in and Ironwood drowns. So now we're left with 3 timelines. The Aesops, Crow and Robin, Oscar, Winter, Ren and Nora, and the Pit People. Speaking of which, yep, as you'd expect, they didn't die, but were instead transported to Destiny Islands. So, yeah, don't fall into the pit, Ambrosius said, or else you might be taken to a tropical paradise. We don't want you having too much fun now. So, considering they're not just floating in the ominous black pit of nothingness, I think Raven can teleport to them. Or, considering their luck, it's probably just a door that's like, hey, here's the exit, choose wherever you want to come out. Also, here's some new costumes and some new weapons and some new power-ups. Also, this seems to be a bit of Neo redemption because the audience likes Neo. Perhaps next volume, you're gonna get a flashback between her and Roman. Yeah, so this episode was kind of just a culmination of what you'd expect. Ironwood's defeated, no sympathy was thrown towards his way, Atlas falls, and this is technically a loss for the heroes. You know, despite saving literally 95% of people, only having 1 casualty on their end. But you know, they fell into a pit where they all survived, so it's a loss. This episode was largely a fight which didn't hold too much substance anywhere. Winter doesn't even tell her family, not that she would know, that Jacques is dead. The only reason she's crying is because she thinks Weiss is dead. The fight between Winter and Ironwood lacked emotion. I would say the best part of this episode was the Aesops, because at the end of the day, they went through an actual arc, technically speaking. Listen, I came into this episode with all my chips placed on the Aesops. Depending on their storyline would determine my happiness with the episode, and I'm fine with it. I like Winter, she has powers now, her fight lacked total emotion and weight, and Cinder's the exact same as she's always been. I can't wait for her to steal these Summer Maiden powers and its relic, only for her to get her ass kicked by her as well. Anyway, moral of the episode is that Maria and Pietro are fucking dead.